This is a model answer video, question 8. We start off with an AO1 definition, biodiversity. So this is a definition that when you've been working out the diversity index, that's what you've used. The number of species and the number of individuals of each species in an area or a geographical region. Or you could possibly say the number and variety of organisms. Maybe not the variation, that's leading you down another path. Then we've got some numbers. We got some numbers here for numbers of starfish per 10,000 meters squared. And what most people have done is work out a mean for this, which is fine. There's 3 marks available for these 3 different steps. If you put the units in and explain what you're doing as you're going along, show you working, then you might pick up some of these marks even if you don't finish off the calculation. So we're going to work out the mean number of starfish per 10,000 meters squared. So mean number per 10,000 meters squared. So, but I've said what I'm doing now, so I'm going to get the mark for this little section is 11 plus 42 plus 37 plus 26 plus 21 divided by 5. That'll give me my mean. So 11 plus 42 plus 37 plus 26 plus 21 is 137 plus 137 divided by 5 equals 27.4. So it is helpful if you put the units in, so it helps you and it helps the examiner give you some marks. So starfish per 10,000 meters squared. And now, well, in the help me video, I gave some clues as to how we get to our final answer. This needs to be per kilometre squared. And what we've got here is a kilometre squared, which is 1 kilometre times by 1 kilometre. The same area, because 1 kilometre is 1,000 metres. So 1,000 times by 1,000, 1,000 metres times by 1,000 metres is 1 million metres squared. So we just need to convert. We've got 27.4 in our 10,000 metres, but how many have we got in a million? Well, some people could do that in the head and go, well, I need to times it by 100. But what if the numbers weren't so kind to you? What would you do? Well, you divide by this one, then times by the new one to convert the number. So how many 10,000 meters squared in a 1 kilometre squared? Question mark. 1 kilometre squared equals 1,000 metres times by 1,000 metres equals 1 million metres squared. So we're going to take our 27.4, we're going to divide it by what it is already, 10,000, and we're going to times it by this million. So 27.4 divided by 10,000 times by million is 2740, which is our answer there. Some people have used a slightly different method. What they've done is added these up, and it's now, that's how many we have per 50,000 metres squared, and then they've factored that up to a million again. Either way, that's your answer. Now we've got an evaluation. So these are usually pros and cons, or advantages and disadvantages. So we're testing the validity. So how true is their conclusion? I would suggest that you'd make usually some positive and some negative comments. The mark scheme seems to be entirely negative. You know, if I was making a positive comment, I would say, well, they've actually done 5 different reefs, they've done repeats, and so on. So some positive things. However, what the mark scheme comes up with is largely negative. So validity. The big one is, well, what's their sampling size? So we've got 2,900 reefs, and how many have they sampled? So we've got 2,900 reefs. How much have they actually sampled? They've actually done 5. Survey of 5 different reefs, and indeed, actually, this should say reef, not transect. It doesn't make sense if it says transect. So, and on each reef, they haven't done the entire reef, they've just done these transects, a small area. So, only sampled a small area of each reef, or possibly only sampled 5 out of 2,900 reefs. You could look at their results and look at the range of their results. Do you think these results are valid? Well, so we've got 11 to 42, so we can say there's a wide range in results. So, e.g., 11 to 42 per 10,000 metres squared. A wide range, which would give a kind of large standard deviation. You could comment on which starfish they actually counted. It says all the visible starfish, so you can imagine there might be some that they couldn't see. So only counted visible starfish, might be some under rocks and things like that. So the number that they have is likely to be less than the actual number, so an under estimate. I'm sure if you give them some other valid points, then the marker might have credited those, but those are the ones that the mark scheme suggests.